Hi, this is Steve Hanna with Osage Learning. I wanted to take a little bit of time to go over our highlighting functionality with y'all. Now, highlighting is really important for what we do, and everyone has probably seen highlighting before, and you've been taught to highlight the things that are most important that you may want to refer back to later. And that's right, but there's so much more we can do with highlighting. And that's really what sets us apart from text-to-speech capabilities for dyslexic or neurodivergent learners, where we listen to the text. There's no real easy way to go back and get that information. And so when we do highlighting, we actually do two different dimensions. One of it is that the text we're highlighting, yes, it is important, but the other side of it is that the color we use can give us information about why we highlighted in the first place. I'm going to show that in a video here. The video is going to have two parts. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to upload an assignment. I've got some science text on black holes. We'll give it a title, so we'll call it black holes. Nothing like doing things last minute, so due date today. It is science, but more specifically, it is astrophysics. So let's create a custom tag for that. Perfect. All right. So we're going to start off by reading this document, and there's a few things we're going to hit up immediately. As we get into the document, you can see I already have all of my accommodations set up for me. So if you need to set that up for yourself, just go into the settings here and work on whatever works best for you. So we know it's called the mystery of black holes. We've got this idea of what is a black hole. I think I'm going to have some definitions in here, but first I kind of want to find out what we're talking about. So I can see that black holes are among the most mysterious objects in the universe. It's probably going to be a main idea of the entire paper. So I'm going to go and just highlight it with my mouse, and then the highlighting option comes up. Now, if you remember, main ideas and claims and all that sort of stuff are green. So we're going to set that here. And then I see immediately in the next sentence is framed as a black hole is. So this is going to be a definition. Black hole is a region in space where gravity is so strong that nothing can escape from it, not even light. Perfect. So we're going to make that yellow for our definitions. And we're good. We can also see a few little things we can do that are kind of clever, right? So the edge of a black hole is called the event horizon. That's definitely a definition. But that doesn't really tell me too much. Now, we get this next sentence. Once anything crosses the boundary, it can never escape. Well, you know what? Both of those kind of come together to tell me what an event horizon is. So I'm not going to worry that I crossed the boundary of a sentence. I'm just going to highlight the whole thing. So here's what happens next. I'm going to go through and highlight this document, and I'm going to just put the video on pause. When we come back in a second or two, you'll find the document already highlighted, and we'll go over how this is useful to you. All right, so now that we're highlighted, let's take a look at some of the things that we've done. In this paragraph about how black holes form, we can see this definition here, right? So black, and it's a process definition, not a term. But it's still a definition nonetheless. So black holes form from the death of massive stars. And there's a lot of information here. Those stars have to be at least 20 times larger than our sun, and here's how it happens. And you'll notice what I've done is I've kind of carved out from a few sentences this idea. So what ends up happening here, and the reason why I do it this way, is so that when we go in and we turn on highlight only mode, we can see that we only have the highlighted text now. This is absolutely going to help you whenever it comes to the point where you're either reviewing the information that you read, or if you're rereading for comprehension. So I read this sentence, right? And now it reads, black holes formed from the death of massive stars, at least 20 times larger than our sun, collapses in on itself with an incredible force. And while maybe not perfectly grammatically correct, we can get all this concept from pretty much a single set of words. We can see doing the same thing in this main idea here, right? For decades, black holes were just mathematical predictions scientists believe existed but had no proof. Great. Let's take that off for a second. Let's look at that sentence here. You know, we only saved one word, but we really allowed us to combine a couple sentences into one idea. So as we go through here, what we see is we see this sentence that they're just mathematical predictions. They had no proof. When we look at what we're going to do for orange, we need to go and say, okay, we need to find things that support some kind of an idea here, right? The conclusion coming in that they needed proof. So what we see is in this sentence, we've got this idea of detecting gravitational waves that were created by two black holes crashing into each other. That's kind of a support for the idea that black holes actually exist. We also see in 2019 that we have a photograph of a black hole. So again, we have support here. You'll notice that, part of this becomes important when we think about things like the scientific method. It's important that the image shows what was predicted by the scientists. It means that their theories were right. But you'll also notice that I kind of went yellow here. And I went yellow because I feel like this defines what was in the prediction. Now, the biggest thing you're going to notice is that highlighting is a very personal thing from a preference standpoint. You can highlight things whatever makes sense for you. You can even decide that maybe these colors and these functions, you're looking for different meanings within the text that you've got. A great example is fiction work, right? We don't really have claims being made in fiction, so we might decide that certain colors represent certain characters, or they represent a plot component that we find in fiction more often than nonfiction work. Either way, take the highlighting, highlight the things that you want, make it relevant to you. Make it so that when you turn on highlight only mode and all the rest of the text goes away, you have the stuff that's important. And in this paper here, I can really get down to what is important within this paper. There's one that I saw down here that I actually thought was pretty interesting to bring forward as well. There's a really bad argument in this paper. It starts by saying that studying black holes help us understand fundamental questions about the universe. Great, that's a claim. It then follows up and supports that claim with this idea that black holes push the law of physics to their limits. All right, it makes sense. Again, if we're studying the limits of physics, then we're understanding more about the universe. But then it basically just reframes the original claim here, right? And that's why we got it in purple. It's kind of this conclusion of this paragraph. And it's just poorly supported. So one of the things that we can do is we can look at these papers and we can figure out where either the holes in the argument are or where we have green things that just don't have any support to it whatsoever. We know that we need to kind of explore that a little bit deeper. In this last one here, I don't know if we've gone over blue yet. Blue is a list of things. So black hole research has led to practical benefits on Earth, technologies, and again, now we're going to support that. Technologies to develop or to study black holes have improved. And then we have a list of 3 things. So satellite systems, computer algorithms, and medical imaging equipment. So we make that list blue. Now what we really notice is like all 3 of these components come together for a single concept. But when I go back and read this, because I know what each color means, it's really easy for me to, go back and just understand, how to reread a small part of this text for comprehension. And you'll notice this was a 1.5-page document. I probably only have maybe a third of the entire document highlighted. That second review comes really quick. Now everyone, remember, when you're done doing your highlighting, hit that submit button, right? It's the only way that your progress is going to go to 100%. And once you've submitted it, you can still go back and read the content. All right. Thank you for your time. Hopefully this helps out on the highlighting. Please, any questions you have, info@osagelearning.com. We're happy to answer. And if you do upload a document and it's blank, just open up a ticket with us to get the document uploaded. It was probably image-based, and we'll help you out in the background. Thank you so much.